Welcome to Checks and Balances. I'm Michael Vincent. This is James Blair, and this week we are covering off the FIRE Festival of Financial Plans. Ja Rule is your financial advisor. It is the FIRE movement.
Today is all about fire, baby. I'm hoping Ravi edited some fire in there. Otherwise, I'm just going to look ridiculous.
For a change.
Yeah, Ravi's going to go endless hours getting this right.
Yeah.
So today is all about the FIRE movement, which is pretty much Gen Z's, millennials going, hey, this working 9 to 5 business ain't for me. I want to choose what I want to do with my time. So Mike, FIRE, what does it mean?
Yeah, so financially independent, retire early. And really the gist of the whole thing is that you save a very large amount of your paychecks for an extended period of time. And that will allow you to accumulate enough cash where you can actually live off that relatively early in your life. And it's going to see you out to retirement.
The other bit probably
a foolproof plan.
Yeah. The other bit probably to point on this is we're going to talk about like the hardcore ideas behind it. But the idea of being financially free
and saving money.
Yeah, and retiring at 50, completely different kettle of fish. We're just going to pretty much poke holes at this kind of younger generation being sick of the corporate life.
Well, I don't think we're going to poke holes in the younger generation being sick of the corporate life.
These kids, Mike.
I think what we're going to poke holes in is every time there is a new fad, like whether it's call it a dieting fad or, like keto or something like that, or this sort of movement where it's like we're going to dress something up in a new way and try and sell it to people. I think you've got to be really clear around what exactly it is that you're signing yourself up for. What are the pitfalls of that? Will it work? And also, can you maintain it? We always use the example with our budgeting of if I exist on chicken, broccoli, and rice, in isolation for a diet, I'm going to run out of energy to complete this diet and I'll have a pizza by day 3, right? So I think it's really important to be really aware of what people are looking at here when they're trying to sell you some type of fad.
Yeah, if I'm being completely honest, I had the pizza at the end of day 1.
Yeah.
And by the end of day 1, I meant breakfast.
Yeah, but I mean, and I stand by that, right? It's like every time you see a new diet come out, you're like, what is it? It's just being calorie deficient by another way. So that's all we're trying to point out here.
The other thing is, I think it was quiet quitting was quite big last year. And what a load of absolute bollocks. Firstly, it's not new. Generations have been coasting for ages. Secondly, way to have a great life and set yourself up for the future if you're going to do the bare minimum.
Yeah.
So the idea is, people don't want to be stuck to their 9 to 5 forever. They want to find ways of increasing their income, living frugally, and aggressively saving for retirement. So we talk all the time around how creating wealth is about income comes in, expenses go out, the amount left over is what helps you get ahead. This is that idea to the next degree where the income is, we're trying to get that up, very little expenses, a huge amount left over that can set us up for an early retirement. If we use the example, probably what most people do, and this is kind of where the math comes in that the FIRE community use, is at a saving rate of 10% of your income, it takes 9 years of work to save 1 year of living expenses.
Yeah.
So if you do the math on that, Mike, you're going to be working for a very long time.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to talk to us about the probably where the FIRE group starts to kick in, Mike, where the savings rate becomes more aggressive?
Yeah, so really people who subscribe to the FIRE way of, or the FIRE movement, what they're trying to do is save 50% of their income, and that's going to take you, 1 year of work to save 1 year of living expenses. So that on average, that is their goal.
Yeah. If you are some crazy bugger who is living an absolutely miserable life because you save all your money and you save 75% of your income, it means 4 months of work can kind of save you 1 year of living expenses, which in theory means you can probably retire in under a decade, maybe 8 years or so.
Yeah.
But like you said, Mike, most FIRE people attempt to save about 50% of their income, which is a pretty decent chunk.
Yeah, it is.
So the end goal that this community is looking for is to save about 25 years of expenses. Stats New Zealand tells us that the average New Zealand household is roughly spending $1,300 a week. So if you were more frugal than that, then you probably could save to a smaller amount.
Yep.
But if we took the average, because, people want to get married still and have kids and do all those sort of things, it means you would need to be saving $1.7 million total in assets to be able to be fired.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fired up. Yeah. But then what they're sort of looking at doing is depleting their capital over time. So about 4% per year is what they calculate that out at. So, I guess in general, anytime, and we'll cover the benefits off now, I guess, but anytime people are thinking about whether they're saving or their finances or trying to get themselves into a better position in the future, we like that, right? And I don't want to see like I'm totally negative on this because there is some positives in there, but it's the same as when we have a crack at Sharesies, right? Like I love Sharesies for an educational tool to get people thinking about their finances, how they're going to get ahead, growing their wealth. It's just that specific mechanism of doing it very rarely works out well or gives people the outcome they want.
We're still in the benefits, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we're going through them, like Mike said, it gets people thinking about retirement and a plan for their future. Where do you want to go? What are the steps you need to take? For this community, the biggest step they take is saving a hell of a lot of money. So it is very much focused on budgeting, cash flow management, which we talk about all the time. Generally, people are crap at. So this community is really good at that.
Yep.
And even if you don't get there, even if you don't get to the FIRE goal.
So you get 80% of the way there.
You're in a way better position than most Kiwis, which is awesome.
Yeah, 100%. But there are some risks to this sort of scheme, I guess. And a big one there, like we're saying, if you get 80% of the way there, you're still in a better position. The opportunity cost of not, of buying houses, investing in property, using leverage, all of these sorts of things, I mean, that actually with that capital, you probably could have got quite a bit more.
Yeah. So some of the rules of thumbs I looked at and I was like, well, does this make sense? And I didn't really think it made the 4% withdrawal rule.
Yeah.
If you retire early, you need that capital to last you like the rest of your life, which will be like, it could be like 50 years.
Yeah.
There's some big holes in terms of return assumptions, what percentage of your capital you'll deplete, what happens if somebody gets sick and you need to draw a large amount of capital out. If you're out of the workforce for a period of time, your skills, essentially we're all going to become chat GPT anyway, your skills to master the new technology will change.
Yeah, 100%. And Ravi, just nod if you can bleep a whole lot of stuff out if I start swearing. Is that cool? Yeah, okay, cool. I think like one of the things that really me off with this is it's just people on the internet trying to sell people a new way to do things, right? And they will put up on paper this work with the math and the math is fine, and then you're an idiot if you can't get this right. When actually there are so many holes in the way that this works. And at the bottom of the link is always click for FIRE tutorial course where I'm going to make a ton of money, right? And then people who try to follow it, or younger people who like maybe already think they're priced out of the housing market, or they can't do this, or it's harder to borrow money, right? There is no hope. They enter into these schemes thinking this is what's going to do it for me. They can't get it right because the math doesn't really work out, and then they feel worse about their situation. I think that's the thing that really about this sort of stuff.
Once again, nothing wrong with working towards financial freedom. I mean, Ravi's given us a bunch of different things to kind of go through. But for me, let's start at the beginning, right? So in terms of a con of this whole thing, you are going to sacrifice the best years of your life when you are the youngest. And you could be at Mangawai Heads at a rave at, 3 a.m. with Mikey V on the DJ decks. But no, you've chosen not to pay that. What do we charge you? $1,000 a head for that?
Yeah, I'm exclusive.
Yeah. If you're sacrificing your best years to scrape and claw and put all this money aside, I think your perspective on life is wrong.
Yeah.
Like finances are about security and they're about helping you live the kind of life you want to live.
Yeah.
And if you were saying to me, I want to sacrifice the best years of my life before I have commitments to save a huge percentage of my income so I then don't have to work in a job that I hate, you picked the wrong career.
Yeah.
Like you can make money. It's 2023. You can make money doing anything.
Yeah.
You can capitalize on anything. Fine. If you hate being an engineer, go do something. If you hate being a lawyer, go do something else.
Yeah.
It's about creating money doing something you are at least somewhat passionate about. Otherwise, go find another job.
I know. And it's like the idea of just sitting in your mum's spare room, trying to...
All right. I mean,
yeah, sorry, I won't go there too hard. But, the idea of just, like James said, being so frugal about things during, yes, the best years of your life, where it's like, when they're like, having that cigarette's going to take 15 years off your life. I'm like, what am I going to be doing at age 90? You're goddamn right, I'm going to have some Benson and Hedges.
Yeah. The other piece is if you're going to be, another risk, is if you're going to be miserable, your partner's probably not going to like you.
Yeah.
You're likely to get divorced.
Yeah.
Hate to break it to you. Divorces ain't great for your financial plan.
Yeah.
You lose half your money and end up back at work. So yes, that's very cheeky and maybe a little bit mean. But if you break up with your partner and lose half of your fire, you ain't got sticks.
Yeah. And the obvious one, right, is like we always say with our financial plans, we set the plan at the start, but this is not set and forget, right? We adjust the plan as things change in your life, like getting married, like having kids, like starting your own business, like doing all of the things that people enjoy in life. I'm not saying enjoyment in life is just going out and buying a new car, setting challenges for yourself, taking risks, like getting, spending a bit of money on a wedding and having fun, or investing in yourself and starting your own business and living a full life. We adjust the plan as things go forward.
Yeah.
Restricting yourself to I'm not going to do anything. I'm now just I'm a limpet on the side of a rock as like the tides of life wash past me. It's just like the most stupid thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, life is all about meaning in whatever way you want to describe it, but to get to an end result where some people want to be financially free so they can take risks with a new career or do, that's a completely different kettle of fish. But the other piece, which this is going to get very grim, is the reality is people who work longer and have meaning in their life live longer.
Yeah.
And if you are one of those people who just want to stop working so you can do whatever and potentially not have as much meaning, then, I mean, the amount of times where we see, particularly doctors, work hard for a long period of time, stop working, have a heart attack and die, you need to have meaning in your life long term.
Yeah, so look, before I start saying the things that I said about this during our planning session, we'll probably wrap it up.
Wild.
But so Ravi just doesn't have to beep entire sentences out. Again, we're going in a bit hard on this. Anytime people are thinking about their savings, getting themselves ahead for retirement, growing their financial position, trying to better themselves off, we fundamentally like that. What we don't like is when the math is wrong, when it's really just probably a tool for some guy on YouTube to sell you a course, all of these sorts of things.
He's financially free.
Oh yeah, but that's the thing. They always are financially free, right? And I think that's what we don't like about these sorts of things. And you know what, James? If I'm wrong, come on the podcast.
I think that's a really good point. There is the possibility we've just gone on a 15-minute rant and they've been like, you guys don't get this.
You've missed the whole point.
I am more than happy. Firstly, FIRE community will come for us in the comments. Bring it on. I'm more than happy to have that robust conversation if we don't get it, and you can educate us. And if you are educating us, that means you're educating the people watching this, which is all wins. And then the people who are watching this are subscribing and reviewing, which is helping more people see it. Yeah. And we're educating by the masses.
And look, I know you're a bit strapped for cash, so I'll pay for the bus for you to get to Auckland so you can come on the thing, and I'll buy you a breakfast and a coffee because that's not in your FIRE plan.
Yeah. They've moved to Gore so they can be financially free.
Yeah.
Much love to Gore, though.
Yeah. Cool. Let's wrap this one up.
Okay, let's wrap this one up. One last bit before we wrap it up is just on this whole idea of being, financially free. is a plan is all about balance, helping you find balance between living your best life now and being okay in the future. I'm just not a huge fan of just focusing on the future and not having the life in the moment. Look forward to hearing from the FIRE community soon. Thank you very much for joining us. Please give us a subscribe, review, and we will catch you next time.
Cheers.